Welcome everybody to the last webinar of the year 2021. Closing it down tonight, we're going to cover some multiple choice test tips to help you out for anybody studying for the FSPS. Even those state specific exams, a lot of them now are multi choice. So let's go ahead and jump right into it and take a look at it. So like I said, tonight we're going to be covering your multiple choice test tips. So like and subscribe so you can hear all the new content as it comes out. And if you guys have any suggestions for next year, let us know. January will be actually hosted at the Pennsylvania Live Society event. So you can catch us there or you'll see us online live at the event as well next month. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat as we go through the material. And multiple choice test tips. So first thing is scheduling your exam. I know it sounds funny, but that is the first thing you're going to want to do is schedule it so that you know when to study or how long to study and how much time you have to prepare for it. Step two, preparing the night before, getting all the material ready, set out, ready to go. Step three is get some rest. I know it's hard to do when you're anxious, but you need to get some rest before you take your exam. Next, step four, the morning of, what to do. And then when you just arrive, things to do and securing your gear. And lastly is time to test. All right, so multiple choice. So if you're studying for one of the national exams, the FS or PS, make sure you check out the NCAAS exam guide. I've got the link here and we're going to put it in the description below so you guys can click on that. So again, step one is setting your exam date several months out. So typically with our study material, we recommend anywhere from 6 to 9 hours of week of studying. So that's 2 to 3 times a week, 2 to 3 hours per night. So that's 2 to 3 months of studying if you're able to maintain that. Going through all the course material, whether it be the FS, the PS, one of the state specific exams that we do offer. But schedule your exam, start preparing for it. That gives you a timeline, a deadline, and it gives you a goal to reach. All right, step two, preparing the things the night before. Like I said, so just make sure you have your calculator ready, have your ID sitting out ready to go, the verification to take your exam. Uh, Typically, they will not ask for it, but it's always good to have it just in case. But make sure you got your calculator, you got your photo ID that's going to be required. Pretty much everything else you can leave in your car, your phone, what have you, or you can leave it in the lockers that they do have there. Next, like I said, step three is get some sleep. So go to bed early. Make sure that you're getting at least 5 hours of sleep prior to the exam. I know it's difficult, but it's one thing you do need to make sure that you're well rested before going into there. The FS and PS alone, you're looking at 6.5, 7 hours. So be prepared and rest up. All right, the morning of, eat well. So avoid junk foods. This is pretty much a no-brainer, but everybody still wants that Coke in the morning. Try to avoid it if you can, so it doesn't help for your brain functioning. So eat a healthy meal, prior to going in. Next, when you arrive at Pearson View, so, like I said, before going into the exam, make sure you use the restroom before taking your test. You don't want to waste any valuable time using the bathroom during the exam. As we all know, they're all timed. So, whether it takes you 5 minutes or 15 minutes, that's time that you are missing out on your exam. So just use the facilities prior to. And here's what everybody really wants to know. Time to test. So, when you're reading the multiple choice questions, read them carefully and thoroughly. So go through it, read the question. Once you finish it, read it one more time. If after that second time you've read it, you're still unsure or unclear and you can't answer it, just flag it and move on. Don't waste the time on it. Come back to it later. Same thing with math computation. So save those till the end. If it's got a math computation, you know, just go ahead and flag it, move on, and come to it on the second iteration. It's not a problem. You'll have plenty of time to come back to it. Know all your surveying terms. such as reliction, avulsion, accretion, and so on. They are going to ask you that. You will see it in the NSPS book, the terms and definitions that we provide with the combo. They also go through numerous different ones, whether it be for GPS surveying or whether it go through littoral rights, but know all this information. So again, developing an answer for the question. So when I was telling you to read the answer carefully first, same thing. When you read it that second time, you should already have a thought in your head of what the answer should be. So don't let the test kind of fool you, but kind of have an answer before you even get to review them. That way you'll be like, oh, I already know it's this. And once you see that answer, you can go ahead and bubble it and move on. Same thing before figuring out which answer you believe is correct, eliminate the answers you know are not correct. So if you're unsure of the answer before you go write it, be like, okay, well, which ones can it not be? So go ahead and process of elimination. You should be able to get rid of probably 50% of the answers, so you'd only have two left. So you've got a 50-50 shot. So if you're stuck, same thing. Once you go through all your questions, when you're stuck, come back, give it an educated guess. Again, go with the one you feel is most correct. And sometimes that'll get individuals, but it's, which one is most correct or what is the best answer. So just think of it that way as well. And again, eliminate the ones that you know for sure cannot be it. Usually your first choice is right. So if you go back through it and you're still unsure, don't change it. Leave it where you first had it. So unless you misread the question. So again, that's why I've asked you guys to read the question twice. So read it through the first time carefully, read it again. If by then you're still unsure, go with your best. You can either flag it, move on, come around for a third time, or you can go ahead and make your best educated guess and move on. So with in all of the above or none of the above choices, so you need to make sure there's a certain one of the statements is false. Don't choose all of the above. So like I said, so if you go and you're looking at it and you're like, oh, I already know that's not true, well then it can't be all of the above. And same thing if it says or sorry, if one of the statements is true, don't choose none of the above. So just make sure you're reading those questions carefully and with all the above or none of the above choices, if it meets this criteria. So if it says, if you are certain one of the statements is false, don't choose all of the above. And if same thing, if you're certain that one of the statements is not or is true, don't choose none of the above. And lastly is, in the questions with all the above, again, choose the one with the least that are at least two correct statements. So if you're going and you're looking at it and you're like, okay, choose all the above or choose the best one. If there's two statements that are correct, all the above is most likely that answer for you. Unless it says, like I said, best. But if it says choose, if there's two correct statements and all the above is an option, that's most likely going to be your answer. So again, we're just going to go through these real quick again, but scheduling your exam, first thing you guys need to do is schedule it, make a timeline. After that, preparing everything the night before. Again, getting some rest, at least 5 hours of sleep. The morning of, what to do, how to prepare, and then once you arrive, and the test, time to test and the tips. So let's go ahead and jump right back into those again. Again, multiple choice test tips, the FS and PS. Both of them, you can find the NCAAS exam guidelines. We've listed it below, as well as we've got it on here for you. Most states' specific exams as well are multiple choice now too. Again, set your exam date several months out. So typically with our course, we recommend anywhere from 2 to 3 months to study for it. So that's 6 to 9 hours a week of studying to help you prepare. That's 2 to 3 times a week, 2 to 3 hours per night. Again, preparing the night before. Make sure you have everything set out, have your calculator ready, have your ID ready, the verification paper for the exam. Um, Depending on where you go, but Pearson VUE typically they can and cannot ask you. It all depends. Everyone's different, so but having that with you, you'll ensure that you won't have any problems getting in to take your exam. Also, you may want to just look up and see if the location is moved, if there's any construction there, since you schedule it. So if you're scheduling it 3 months out, just make sure that there isn't going to be anything that's going to interfere with you accessing the building or one of the roadways. Just be prepared and have all that ready to go the night before. Lastly, get some rest. Like I said, um, at least 5 hours of sleep prior to the exam. So you're going to want to make sure that you're well rested before going to take any of these exams. 6 to 7 hours to sit there. You're going to want to be refreshed and ready to go. The morning of, again, eat well, avoid any junk foods. I know that soda looks great, but it's not going to help you 4 hours into the exam. So eat a healthy breakfast. Um, again, preparing just like you do the night before, prepare before you go into the exam. Just make sure you're ready to go. And when arriving at Pearson VUE, again, before you even go to, you know, take your exam, visit the facilities, make sure that you use the restroom, put away anything or don't bring it in from your car. All you need is your ID, the calculator, your exam sheet, car keys, and that's about it. So most of it you can leave in the locker or in your vehicle. But definitely don't take time out to use the facilities if you can use them prior. And lastly, the test tips. Again, for reading the multiple choice questions carefully. So before you look through the answers, if you don't know it right away, just read the question again. If after the second time you read it and you're still unclear, flag it and move on. You can always come back to it. You guys will have plenty of time. But make sure that you read it twice before trying to answer it. So save all the long math computations until the end. Same thing. So, if you've got one that, is going to take some time to figure out as far as calculation, flag it, come back to it. Answer all the easy questions first. Deal with the math at the very end. Again, knowing all your survey terms, such as reliction, avulsion, accretion, and so on, they are going to ask you these. So make sure that you do know all your terms and definitions. If you do buy the combo, like I said, we do provide it with the NSPS terms and definitions book, so you guys can go through that. And again, so when you are reading these multiple choice questions, develop an answer in your head prior to taking it. So if you're able to go ahead and answer that question before looking at the answers, it's going to give you much better results than looking at the answers and being like, oh, well, I think it's this one, or well, that one might work. So already have the answer in your head before you even go to look at them. And same thing, before figuring out which answer you believe is correct, eliminate the ones that you know are not correct. Typically, you can eliminate two of them right off the bat. Should be pretty easy. That gives you a 50-50 shot rather than a 25% chance in the very beginning. So, process of elimination, get rid of the ones that you know are not it, and move on. All right, and again, so if you're stuck, take an educated guess. So if you go through those questions twice, and you're like, I'm still not unsure, I'm still unclear. Well, then just go ahead and, like I said, take your best educated guess on which one you feel is most correct. You should be able to already have eliminated a couple of them, so you should have two left. Make that, again, the most correct answer you feel. Usually your first choice is the correct one. So again, unless you misread the question, that's why I always say read it twice, third time if need be. Don't change your answer once you've made the educated guess. Typically, that first time is correct. All right, and in all of the above and none of the above choices, so if you're certain one of the statements is false, don't choose all of the above. So all of them have to be correct. Or if the statement is true, don't choose none of the above. same thing. So, if you read the question, you're like, oh, well, I already know that that's false and that's false. Well, then it can't be all of the above. And if you know that two of the answers are correct, it might be all of the above. So, again, with all the above choices, if you're certain that there are at least two correct statements, then all of the above is most likely the correct answer. So it was a short video for tonight or webinar. Just want to wish you guys happy holidays and happy New Year. And again, if you guys have any questions or if you want to see a certain topic covered, feel free to leave it in the comment below so that we can answer those for you and schedule something. Like I said, next month we'll be at the Pennsylvania State Society event, so we'll have a live event there. But other than that, if you want to see something or talk about a certain state maybe getting licensed in, different test tips, feel free to leave it in a comment below so we can help you guys out. That's what we're here for. So again, happy holidays to everybody. Happy New Year's. And again, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to see the latest videos and more. As always, thanks for joining NLC Prep on another live YouTube video. We host the webinars for you. So again, if you have questions about getting licensed in a particular state, have a topic of discussion, please leave it in the comments so we can create a webinar based on your feedback. My name is Chris, and again, we'll see you guys next year. Want to hear a certain topic? Leave it in here. We'd love to talk about one of the topics you guys have. One of the questions you might see, or whatever we can do. Be glad to help out. Again, my name is Chris with NLC Prep. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to us at support@nlcprep.com or at 877 758 6262. Thank you guys.